Welcome into another edition of our Wildcat Weekly. I'm super excited to be joined by Tony DeAnda, the head coach of the NMU women's wrestling program. Tony, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So women's wrestling, it's a sport that's not talked about very often, but we have a lot of talented wrestlers here in our backyard in Marquette that attend NMU. Before we get to talking about them, I want to talk about the sport as a whole. I know we were speaking a little bit off cam. It's a sport that's growing in popularity, correct?
It is. It's at the high school level. It's considered one of the fastest growing sport for females at the high school level. It is. Before
we get into what has transpired so far this season, I do want to talk about last season a little bit.
Yeah.
The national championships, you had 7 wrestlers competing. Your program finished in 12th place.
Correct.
A great year for you guys as you look to make strides as a rather new program.
Yeah, no, that was exciting. You know, we had the 7 athletes that qualified for nationals, and out of those 7, we had 2 that were All-Americans. I think this year we're right on track with trying to at least equal that or surpass that, just based on, we've got, I think it's like 4 or 5 athletes that have been ranked or are currently ranked. We have at 143 pounds. We have 2 athletes. One is Alyssa Caltagirone, and then we also have Marissa Angelos, who have both been ranked in the top 5, 6 off and on throughout the course of the year. We also have Noelle Gaffney at 155 pounds. It's been ranked in the top 5, 6 from off and on throughout this year. And then we've also had our freshman Abby Swanson, who has been in the top 10. So we're hoping to, like I said, to have other athletes step up, but also the athletes that have kind of proven themselves a little bit more through the year finish up strong. So
you did have a lot of athletes step up in your last competition at the Alma Open, a first place finish for your team. Just talk about your team's performance and what you saw out of that competition.
Yeah, you know, that was we had an event that got canceled a week prior to that, so that was a good tournament to have just because we hadn't competed for a little while based on that cancellation. And then yeah, they did well. They're performing, they're doing the skills that we're practicing, and then, you know, it's a good tournament leading up to the Grandview tournament, which is probably one of the toughest tournaments that we'll have this year. So yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. Des Moines, Iowa, that's where the site is for this Grandview Open. Just talk about what you're expecting out of that competition.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of probably on par with our national tournament a little bit, just based on you get a good mix of a lot of different schools from NCAA level, but also the NAIA level. There currently are about 100 colleges and universities that have women's wrestling, and so you'll get a great mix there to central location. So there's a lot of schools in that area, and so doing well there can help probably you know, have a good result there can help with going into nationals and the regionals. So,
and obviously high finishes is great for a program when you talk about bringing in future athletes, student athletes to the program. Just talk about the momentum that you're kind of feeling as a program as you're in this 3rd year and seeing strides as the program goes from year to year.
Yeah, you know, I think having been our first year last year, placing 12th, I think that was a great accomplishment. But you know, we always talk about our goals and that, you know, we want to do better than that. You know, we're ranked 10th, but I think we're very capable of potentially being in the top 6. So we don't want to settle necessarily for what the rankings are saying or what we did last year. I think that this team, if we have a good tournament, we could be in the top 6. So yeah, those are the expectations. That's what we're looking for, and we're just using this last event to kind of prepare for that.
And as your season progresses now, what has been, I guess, the main message to your wrestlers?
Yeah, you know, I don't try to focus too much on the wins and losses. You know, people can get caught up in that. We try to focus more on our effort and the things that we have control over going into this last home stretch of our season. So that's kind of the main focus that we try. Otherwise, I think you can get too much stress basing it on wins and losses. I think if you go out there and you focus on your effort, you're probably going to do all right. So,
in wrestling, it is a grueling sport, both physically and mentally. So your athletes are putting themselves or testing themselves and pushing themselves to the absolute limits on a daily basis. Just talk about that a little bit. I don't think a lot of people who don't know much about the sport of wrestling understand just how grueling this sport can be.
Yeah, it is a demanding sport. Every sport is demanding in its own way. I mean, as wrestlers, we like to say it's one of the more demanding ones because it's in your face a little bit. You've got the whole nutritional component, you got the physicality of it, you got the mental side of it, and then you're also trying to balance, anywhere from 12 to 16 credits of classes. So there's definitely a lot on their plate, and I think our athletes do a great job of balancing both of those things, or all of those things. So,
for this season to be, I guess, considered a success, in your mind, what will have to happen by the end of the season?
The biggest thing is, we want to do better than last year, but at the end of the day, it's more about skill development and that we're improving from year to year, as each individual athlete is a different athlete from when they were a freshman. If their skills continue to get better and get polished and improve, and they're adding more skills to their plate, then that's where the wins and part of it will take care of itself. So as long as their skill part of it is improving, then we're happy.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to seeing what your program can do here as we look forward to the Grandview Open and beyond. Good luck and congratulations so far on the success.
Thank you, Jake. And I just want to make a little point that we have our last home duel that's being rescheduled. It's going to be on February 6th at 6 o'clock. Okay. So if people could make it, that would be great to come out and check out women's wrestling if you've never seen it.
Awesome. You heard it here first. Get out there and support your Wildcats if you can. So good luck and good luck the rest of the way as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll be right back with more Local 3 news in just a few minutes.